All right, remember the story from a couple of months ago where police raided this newspaper over a couple of stories that they were doing?
Tonight, ABC News has obtained video of police raiding a small-town Kansas newspaper, the incident raising First Amendment questions. At issue, a tip a reporter received about a story the paper never published. Authorities are defending the raid. Tonight, the newspaper says its 98-year-old co-owner died one day after the raid because of the stress she suffered. More now from ABC's Faith Abube.
You want to snap a picture of that password right there?
Tonight, ABC News has obtained dramatic news surveillance video of a small-town Kansas police force raiding the newsroom of the Marion County Record.
Well, now we have a major update. Now, if you don't remember this story, here's a quick refresher. A small-town newspaper in Kansas was doing a story on the police showing favorable treatment to local residents. Now, specifically that a local restaurant owner, Carrie Newell, had been convicted of drunk driving and continued to drive her vehicle without a valid license. And allegedly, the police department was looking the other way. Now, Carrie's ex-husband had tipped off a local reporter that Carrie's license was suspended, and that reporter verified the information through public records. Now, the police chief, who was also being investigated by the paper, contacted Carrie and told her that her information regarding her suspended license was out in the public. Now, the police, after a quick investigation, concluded that the only way the reporter could have gotten the information about Carrie's license was from illegally accessing it over the internet. So the police went to Magistrate Judge Loivar, who signed a search warrant to search the newspaper on the basis of identity theft. Then Marion County Police conducted a raid on the Marion County Record's newsroom and the home of the editor-in-chief. They seized their computers and other electronic equipment. Now, in an interesting twist, Judge Varr also had some previous DUI arrests. See, the judge was arrested twice in 2012, once on January 25th in Coffee County, and again on August 6th in Morris County. Now, at the time, Varr's name was Allen, and she was working as the top prosecutor in Morris County. In the first arrest, Varr was charged and entered a diversion agreement, which extended 6 months because she refused to get an alcohol drug evaluation and stopped communicating with her lawyer. Now, this is according to the Eagle, a local newspaper. She was again arrested months later, this time in her home county. Now, officials say in that situation, she was driving Morris County Magistrate Judge Tom Bald's vehicle when she ran off the road and hit a shed near Council Grove football field. Now, this was reported by TV station IBW in 2012. Now, adding to the intrigue here, she was a prosecutor on the Morris County Anti-Drug Task Force. Now, at this time, she was charged with DUI, reckless driving, and refusing to take a preliminary breathalyzer test. Now, along with the judge's shady past, the police chief also has a very shady past. See, the local newspaper was looking into his background as a police chief. First, there were allegations made by his former colleagues at the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department he used to work at. And these allegations included accusations that the police chief made sexist comments, he was a poor leader, and that he drove over a dead body at a crime scene. I'm assuming that was an accident. The paper was also working on an alleged sexual misconduct allegation while the police chief was working at the Kansas City Police Department. So let's recap. The police chief, the judge, and the local business owner seemed to be wrapped up in this mess. Now, the local prosecutor's office reviewed the search warrant and claimed that the raid wasn't really legitimate and declined to defend it. They claimed that there was insufficient evidence to justify the warrant. So now we have an update on the story. After an investigation, body camera footage from the raid showed officers, including the chief, rifling through records about the chief and not about the subject of the warrant. See, the warrant was about the local bar owner's driving records and not about what the paper was investigating against the chief. So the chief essentially ignored the intended documents of the raid and wanted to see what the paper had found out about him. Footage also revealed that the chief was being alerted by other officers to reporters' files that were about him. Then we had another bombshell drop where the restaurant owner, who the police chief used to get the warrant, claims that the police chief demanded that she delete text messages between the two.
His resignation comes 4 days after our report last week. Carrie Newell, whose driving record Cody used as a premise to raid the newsroom, says the chief asked her to delete text messages in August after the raids.
I did delete those messages against my better judgment and instantly regretted it.
We took Newell's accusations to Kansas Bureau of Investigation. Newell says a KBI agent visited her the next day.
He wanted me to send him copies of what text messages I did have between Cody and I.
On Wednesday, the I-team spoke with the city administrator about Newell's accusations. He wouldn't say if the city planned to take action against Cody. The mayor suspended the chief the very next day, the same day the I-team released the story about the text messages.
Now, the footage, the deleted text messages, and the controversy around the raid itself forced local officials to suspend the police chief, which was announced in the city council meeting by the mayor. The police chief ultimately resigned a couple of days later because things weren't looking good.
The police chief in Marion, who found himself at the center of national controversy over that raid in August, has resigned effective immediately.
So at this point, it's clear that the search warrant was bogus. The police chief, the judge had some issues, and at the end of the day, the system seemed to work, holding people in power accountable. Now, there are still some lawsuits working its way through the system, and we'll continue to cover the story as it unfolds. But what do you think should happen to the police chief, to the judge, or to anyone involved in this story? This seems like a classic case of abuse of authority, but it seems to have a lot of moving parts to it. Tell me what you think in the comments section. Tell me if you think more should happen to any one of these participants. My name is Nate the Lawyer, and I'll see you next time. Peace.